everyone to another episode of We the People. This is a Planet Healer, and today we have with us Miss Lata Bhatia, who is the founder of Green Legion and also the founder of Kolkata Zero Waste Bazaar. I'm so happy to have you with us today, Lata ma'am. She is the composting queen of Kolkata, and she is also the one who taught the city how to lead a zero waste life. So, ma'am, if we could just begin by your introduction. What do you do? What is Kolkata Zero Waste Bazaar?
Thank you so much, Pooja, for inviting me here and giving me this opportunity to speak to you and speak to everyone in Kolkata and outside. I'm a very simple person, leading a very simple life. No rocket science in my life, the simple things which go back a long way to our ancestors actually. So do I tell you about my journey?
Yes, ma'am. When did you start leading this zero waste life? What exactly does this mean? Because a lot of our audience would not know what is a zero waste lifestyle. So if you could just throw some light on that, what does that mean?
So it's going back to 2016. I live in New Alipur and I see a lot of waste when I go out for my morning walks. And that really bothered me. Bothered me to the extent of thinking that what I can do as a person. Instead of asking questions to the municipal corporation and the government, I started asking questions of myself. Because after all, we citizens are creating the waste that are on the roads of Kolkata. So I got back to my Google, internet, books to see what is happening in Kolkata, what is happening in the other cities of India, what is happening with the cities of the world, how are they managing their waste, where we in Kolkata are going wrong. Because I don't see so much of waste on the roads of other cities, and I know in the cities abroad, there is not so much waste visible. There is waste, of course, but not visible. So that got me into thinking that if we are creating so much waste, as a kid, I didn't see so much waste in Kolkata. So what has changed? That's when I came to the concept of a zero waste life, a life where we are not creating so much waste. I mean, we have to create some waste, but so much waste is not necessary, not required, right? So I started studying more and I said, okay, let me see if I can lead a zero waste life. And I started. And truly speaking, it wasn't at all difficult for me. It wasn't. It just came like, I just changed, snakes change skin. So I changed my skin that day. And life became actually very simple and easy. And I thought to myself that, okay, no, actually before that what happened, I thought let me share my knowledge with other people. And then I said, if I'm going to share my knowledge, I must know what it's all about by actually practicing it. And I said, okay. So I started practicing it. And I saw, okay, I have the answers that people may ask. So that's when my zero waste journey started. And I started going out to schools, colleges and sharing my knowledge about it. That's how it all began.
Okay, so like, ma'am, the phrase itself says zero waste life or zero waste lifestyle. But like you mentioned earlier, that it's not possible for any human being to not create any waste at all. Waste can never be zero per se. We can just minimize the amount of waste that we are creating and channelize the waste that we have created into something which can be repurposed or can be used in some form or the other. So why is it called zero waste lifestyle and how can we justify this?
You see, I talk mostly about individual waste creation, not about the industry and the other places. Because individually, we each run a household. So I talk about the household waste. And there are lots of different kinds of waste in the house, including paper, cardboard, glass, metal, etc. But the most waste that comes out from our household is from the kitchen, which is 60 to 70% of the waste. And rest 15 to 20 are waste which are recyclable, and only about 5 to 10% of the waste we generate in our households are waste that should go to the landfill, right? So what happens is when we mix the wet waste, our kitchen waste with all the dry waste, the kitchen waste gets spoiled, it gets toxic, and the dry waste is not recyclable anymore. And there are a lot of resources. Actually speaking, waste is not waste. There are a lot of resources which we have forgotten about, right? So we have to take out the resources from the waste and make it minimum. That's a zero waste life, right?
So, ma'am, when you decided that you want to lead a zero waste life or a sustainable life, what conscious measures did you start taking in your day to day routine or in the way you live? What were the conscious steps that you took that led you in that journey?
So the first thing is to segregate waste at source. So I started segregating my dry waste from the wet waste. And all the cardboard paper went together. And I started looking out for recyclers. Out there in 2016, there were no recyclers in the city. City has gone a long way in the last 7 years, I'm happy to say. So I connected with the recyclers. That time it was vital waste I connected with to take away all my dry waste. And of course, the wet waste I learned to compost through YouTube. That's the best learning tool today. And a lot of challenges, of course, in everything new you do. There's a trial and error, and you make mistakes and you learn from those mistakes. It took me some time to actually get it all right, but yeah, you just have to take that first step and go along. And when I started auditing my dry waste, I realized there's a lot of things that I can do away with. You don't have to completely do away with, but you can minimize it. That's why a minimalist lifestyle. So all the packaging that comes with e-commerce, okay, try to avoid it. Go local. All the Swiggies and the Zomatos that we order from, cut it out. Slow it down. Minimum. Start cooking at home. Start experimenting. Home cooking is the best and the healthiest. So go in for that. You will not only reduce the waste, you will improve your health. So I carry certain things 24/7 to help me lead the zero waste life that I'm talking about. Okay.
Okay, so ma'am is going to show us now the things that she carries that are very easy and very handy, very portable to carry. Okay. Right, so there's a napkin, there's a water bottle. It's interesting how these things come in such a packaging that it's very easy for anyone to carry it, even with smaller handbags.
Absolutely. I carry a big handbag for comfort. Yes. And yeah. So a bag, a cloth bag, right, is a permanent companion. A napkin is also a permanent companion. And so is this cutlery kit.
This is Lata ji's famous cutlery kit that she takes along everywhere, any event
Absolutely.
we are at. She always brings out her cutlery set, and we are all in awe that why don't we carry this? Because this is so hygienic, this is so easy to carry.
Yeah. This has made my life very simple and minimalist and waste free. When we go out to eat, so many times we are served with plastic cutlery. So instead of that, I use my own cutlery that I carry from the house, bring it back, wash it, and repack it. Then, of course, a napkin. Tissues are the worst things that can happen on this earth. We are wasting not only resources, making a tissue consumes a lot of water, electricity, and other resources. Using a cloth napkin or a handkerchief is way better. People tell me it takes water to wash this. Better wash this than cut trees and use tissue paper. And of course, this is a boon cloth bag which can you make one and you can use it for thousands of times. The same bag can be used many times to carry a lot of things, and you cut out all the plastic bags. And plastic bags is one of the biggest culprits of this whole environment, climate change today. And I think we should all try to do something about it. And of course, my water bottle. In the last 7 years, I have not used one single mineral water bottle. I'm really proud to say
Wow,
that.
that is a very big thing because it has become so normal these days. We don't even consider, and we're just like, हाँ पानी तो मिल ही जाएगा, इतना तो वो पान दुकान रहता है रास्ता में, तो कहीं ना कहीं से पानी तो मिल जाएगा.
And
Water
thanda.
is something
And cold.
thanda, cold. We don't need to carry that. But no, recently we have seen this. I would use the term trending because that is what this is becoming. Carrying your water bottles, getting now there are fancy copper bottles, metal bottles that have come into picture just because carrying water bottles is becoming a trend, and it's okay if people are just following the trend because it's good for the environment.
Absolutely.
I would like to ask you that yes, these alternatives are very good for the environment, but can, let's say, a cloth bag ever replace a plastic bag? Because when it is raining, this will get wet. So how do we deal with such problems? Even a handbag, for instance, a leather handbag will always be more durable than, let's say, a cloth handbag in terms of functionality, because a cloth handbag again will always get wet in the rain. So if I have books inside, if I have anything inside, they can get drenched. So how do I, as a person, make the switch to a cloth bag instead of another material?
That's definitely a challenge, but there are a lot of kind of bags that are available which are not disposable.
Right.
So let's use the bags that will protect your things, the things that need to be protected,
Right.
and save those as well as not harm the environment.
Right.
A bag which will last you for maybe a few years.
Right.
It could be made of plastic, a kind of plastic, but if you can use it again and again and again, that's all right.
Right.
The ones
Definitely.
that I am totally against are those single-use
Yes.
plastic.
Yes.
Be it single-use plastic, be it single-use cutlery or crockery. These days it's become fashionable to serve in these use and throw, eco-friendly crockery
It's made
plates.
out of baggies.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's made of these sugarcane bagasse or
Right.
something. But are we composting that? It's still creating, it's filling the landfill
Right.
with all the other waste, and it's not helping anyone.
Right.
So
Yes,
why?
this is a very big myth buster, because I'm so glad that you brought up this point, because people think that, okay, if I'm buying an eco-friendly plate,
Yeah.
then at least it's better than a thermocol plate or a plastic plate or even a paper plate, because I'm not cutting down trees, I'm using sugarcane bagasse plates. But like you rightly mentioned, we are not realizing that it's not like they're segregating it.
Yes.
It's not like after a party they're going to have two different bags with two different kinds of trash. They're going to have one big black plastic bag and
Yeah.
they're going to put everything into
Correct,
it.
yes.
And it's not like they're going to clean those plates, dry those plates, then compost it. It will have food in it. Nobody has the time to clean it, really.
Yeah.
So it's not really serving any
See,
purpose.
it's not. It does not even need cleaning, those
Right.
bagasse plates, because they are going to be composting.
Right.
But are we composting? Are we composting scientifically?
Right.
It's still creating those greenhouse gases wherever it's going.
Right.
So unless we decide, okay, I'm going to use these plates and I'm going to compost it at home,
Right.
so that my environment or the city environment does not get polluted.
Right.
But we're not doing that. We're just
Exactly.
using and throwing, and whatever happens after that is not your business. Of course, it's your business. You're the one who's breathing this air.
Right. And so, ma'am, like we all know, I think the audience now is very comfortable with reusing, repurposing. We have somewhat gotten a hold of it. But composting as a concept is something that people are really wary of, because they don't really know how to go about it. They think it'll start smelling, it'll attract insects. How can I keep this garbage in my house for so long? So if you could just tell us, since you started composting in Kolkata, you made everyone aware about it. So if you could just tell us, how did you start composting? Why did you start it? How is it exactly done?
I tried before I mastered the technique of aerobic composting, I tried different kinds of composting. When I went online and I saw different kinds of composting, I didn't know much about it then. So I started anaerobic composting, and there was so much smell, and it was very complicated and not at all doable by a simple person living in the house. It needed more time, and I know everyone has very little time today. So I gave up that, looked up something else, tried that, gave it up. Then I came across aerobic composting. And once I started doing that, of course, not that I didn't go wrong in the beginning, I did. I did have maggots and I did have that smell. But then slowly and steadily I mastered it. And now I have a composting, open composting on my terrace with no smell. You can go to the terrace and not even, unless you see that pit, you don't even understand there's composting happening there. So there is no smell, there are no maggots, there are no nothing. My daughter, in fact, was composting in her dining room. She had a bucket of compost in her dining room, and she had a small house then, and there was no smell, and there were no maggots, and there's nothing. No one would have understood that there's composting happening in that bucket.
Right. So, ma'am, what are the common mistakes or the common challenges that people face, or the mistakes that people commit while composting that makes it so difficult for them?
The only mistake they make is give up too fast.
Okay.
The rest is all doable.
Yeah.
I mean, you need three things to compost properly: is oxygen, which is you get around, you need carbon content, which you get from paper, cardboard, dry leaves, anything dry, the leftover of the cocoa peat industry, the cocoa peat powder, or the sawdust. These are all carbon content. So use that, and the kitchen waste, which is nitrogen. So you need oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and these are the things you need. It just has to be in the right measure. The right measure, you can't do it in weight. You just have to get the right weight with your hands and eyes. Just plunge in, try it, make mistakes, redo it, and you do it.
Yes. So this is one art form, this is one skill that will only come by trial and error.
Yeah.
You have to get your hands dirty, and then only you
Absolutely. And it's worth it. At the
Yes.
end of the composting cycle, you see, you get soil in your hand, and if you smell it, I wish I'd brought that and shown it to you, and you smell it like earth. It's like earth, back to earth.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So beautiful that what was once waste has now become something very useful, and not even help you grow things in the house, grow your own herbs, grow your own chilies, organic.
So, on an average, how long does this cycle take from waste to soil?
It takes anything between 45 days to 60 days, depending on the kind of waste that we're putting in. Right. Fruit waste, which are normally soft, they compost faster. Right. Then something like a rich gourd or a leaf stem will take time to compost. In nature, everything composts, but we are doing a faster process because we are creating so much waste. Nature does not create so much waste. Right. So we found this. Okay, someone has found this faster method of the right composition, gives you a faster compost.
Right. And ma'am, so for composting, how important is it to segregate the waste in a correct way? Because from what I understand, if let's say it's a non-vegetarian household that is composting, they cannot put eggshells or bones or meat into the compost pit, right? So even for a vegetarian household, how important is segregation before composting?
See, in households, I don't suggest non-vegetarian to be composted. Right. Leave the bones and the fish bones and the meat bones out of it. Leave everything non-vegetarian out of it. Besides that, you don't have to segregate. You can put in eggshells, crush it, put it in the compost bin, and everything is composted.
Right. Okay. So, ma'am, apart from composting, the things that cannot be composted, obviously that kind of waste is also generated in a kitchen or in a household per se. How important is segregation for that kind of waste?
We need to segregate at source, right at the beginning, when you should have two bins, one for dry waste, one for wet waste. Straight away put the wet waste in the wet waste container, put the dry waste, so that extra washing, extra care does not have to be taken. Like paper and cardboard can be composted, but it's better recycled. Right. Because if you want more paper, instead of cutting more trees, you can recycle the paper into paper. Right. So I suggest that you compost with your kitchen waste and all the dry leaves that is abundantly available around the city.
Right. So ma'am, we have noticed, like we as a company, when we do e-waste management, what we do is we conduct awareness sessions for school students and college students. Even when we are spreading awareness about segregation or about composting, generally we have seen, like you also mentioned, that you visit schools and colleges and give lectures about that. But is that the correct audience that we are catering to? Or in Indian households, it is the mother or the house help, the domestic help that will end up doing this segregating work?
It's better to educate everyone.
Right.
But if we cannot, then the school children are the best bet.
Okay.
Because they are our future generation.
Right.
And if correctly impressed upon them, they'll go back to the household and impress their mothers and the household.
So yes, ma'am, like we have also noticed that school students are the best audience for any form of environmental education. They're usually so curious, they get so excited about learning new concepts, and this newer generation is far more passionate about the environment, about new eco-friendly things that are coming into the market. They want to learn different things, they want to explore different things, maybe also because they are feeling the maximum the climate crisis that is happening. They are feeling it firsthand, they're experiencing it firsthand, and it's their future that is going to affect the most. So even we have noticed that school students, kids are very compassionate about nature. They are more into gardening, they want to learn these life skills, which is great, which is just beautiful. But having said that, this generation is also, I would say, obsessed with consumerism. Like you mentioned earlier, also those Amazon orders, those Flipkart orders, those Swiggy, Zomato orders that keep coming into our households. Even we have been guilty at some point, and we all know people who are obsessed with just online ordering, buying clothes, getting food ordered online, all of that. So what is the solution to this? Because it's not like we are inching towards it, we have already gone all the way towards it. With COVID happening, with fast fashion coming into the picture, clothes getting so cheap and so affordable that anyone can have 10 different clothes within the same month. I remember when we were kids, we used to go shopping only during Diwali or during birthdays or during weddings. But now every month there is a end of season sale or no reason sale. There are sales happening. So how, as young people, as the youth, how do we curb our wish to procure everything and the waste that we have already created by procuring things, the Amazon orders, the Flipkart orders, the packaging that comes along with it? What do we do with that?
The problem is very, very vast.
Yes.
Solution is easier said than done. It was easy for me because I was then not so young, not so attracted. I've never been a consumerist, so to say. Definitely people who are used to, who are shopaholics, is going to be difficult. But COVID has, besides the problem COVID created, it did teach us that we can do with very little. We can survive with very little. If we can take that lesson of COVID along with us, I think each one of us, we can live the next 10 years, 15 years of our lives without purchasing anything. Right. The amount of clothes we have, I think clothes are falling off the racks of our cupboards. We're trying to push them in and add some more to it. Okay, you want to bring in new clothes, you want to bring in 2, take out 4 from your cupboard and give it to someone else who needs it. And there's a lot of population in the city, in and around the city and the villages who can do with that extra piece of cloth, right? So buy, but also give. Right. So there's a wonderful organization called Goonj who serves the country with old clothes and everything old you have in fact in the house. So utilize their services. They are almost there in 24 cities of Kolkata, big and small. And give your things away. I mean, don't gather too many things.
Don't hold on to things. Let go of things that you do not need.
Yes.
Like someone said that waste for you is not waste, in general. It can come to use for someone else, right? Be it an electronic device, be it clothes, be it books, be it anything. If you don't need it anymore, does not mean that it's waste. It can always come to you.
Since this whole thing of this lifestyle change I had, I also got connected to Goonj. And for 6 years, my house was the collection center for goods.
Wow.
In Kolkata.
Yes. Currently, we also have a collection center with you for e-waste. Hulladek has a collection center in Zero Waste Kolkata store. So that is great. Coming to Kolkata as a city, we Kolkata citizens, we have always laughed about, joked about how Bengal or Kolkata has always been last, has always been so backward and so lazy in adopting to new things, be it good for the environment, be it good for the economy, be it any new thing. So how do you think the city has grown, the awareness levels have grown in terms of the environment, in terms of eco-friendly behavior, climate-friendly behavior? How do you think Calcuttans have taken that up?
See, I'm glad that in the last 7 years of my journey, I've seen a lot of youth, young people come forward and taken on this. I'm one of the, I think, the only old person in this industry. But
You're not old at all. You're the youngest of all.
Thank you for that
Yes.
compliment. But yes, but I'm happy to see the young people, people taking charge and moving ahead with this journey. And I'm happy with the growth, the number growth, but it's definitely, as you say, we are slow. Calcutta is slow. Even in this, we are slow. Other cities have moved forward far, far ahead of us.
Because when we were recently doing a collection drive in Mumbai, what we realized is we deal in e-waste, right? So people were filling up e-waste in their cars and they were getting it to that one particular point, and they told us that we have gotten it from our neighbors also, we've gotten it from people in our building also, and we've got it for you. Thank you so much, you're doing such a great job. Cut to when we are functioning in Kolkata, people are like, मेरे घर से ही उठाओ, आज ही उठाओ, मुझे पैसे भी दो. So that is the difference in mindset. वहाँ पे भी it's a consumer, यहाँ पे भी it's a consumer, वहाँ पे भी it's a household,
Correct.
यहाँ पे भी it's a household. It's not like it's about a corporate we are talking about. We're talking about individuals only. But just the difference in mindset. You know, in certain cities, people think that you are taking my waste. Thank you so much. You're doing a great job. And here people think कि waste ही तो ले रहे हो, तो क्या बड़ा बात है? You're as good as a कचरा वाला or a कबाड़ी वाला. So yes, that shift in mindset needs to come in. And I feel we need to make recycling or being eco-friendly cooler, right? That is a way in which we can get people to jump onto this trend also, if we might so say. You know, that's when people will start saying, ki, no, theek hai, I want to recycle, I want to do something for the environment, only if it is cool, only if it is trending, right?
And you were talking a little while ago about the sales, you know.
Yes.
It's all about the media, how media shows you what shows, portrays it. So sales become a big thing. They flash full pages of articles. But do we as recyclers can afford those full pages of articles about recycling and upcycling and waste? We cannot. We can't afford it. So if we can't afford it, the government should afford it. Right. The government should put hoardings about segregation, about, they should make aware. We have to make people aware. People are not aware. Right. That's the problem. We need to make people aware.
So ma'am, what we have seen in the past, that most people working in the environment space are usually NGOs, usually not-for-profit companies, or they are small entrepreneurs running their business out of their homes, or small companies in general. Do you think it is a sustainable idea to go about in such a fashion, or do you think recycling or any other environmental company needs to become profitable in order to create an impact on a larger scale? How important is making profits or booking sales for the environment sector, for the businesses in the environment sector?
See, any business to become sustainable has to be profitable.
Right.
I cannot say Kolkata Zero Waste Bazaar is going to run on funding.
Right.
Initially, perhaps, but not in the long run. Unless it's profitable, it cannot sustain. So when we're talking about sustainability, even businesses have to become sustainable. They have to earn their profits, reduce their profit margins, perhaps. You don't need to make a 50 rupee profit on a 100 rupee product.
Right.
A 20% profit is reasonable. 10% can help you live your simple life, and the other 10% can sustain your business. I mean, sustainability is not about becoming millionaires.
Right.
We all only need one car to drive. We only need one house to live. We don't need 10 homes and 10 cars in our garages.
Right.
That is not sustainable. So live in one house, own that house maybe if you have the money.
Right.
Go in car, own that car if you have the money. That's sustainable.
Right.
That's enough. We don't
Right.
need more.
So that's so well put, because when people say living a sustainable life or living a zero waste life, for a person not in the environment space, it will sound very scary and it will sound very ki nahi nahi ye kaise hoga, this
Correct.
is
Yeah.
they're asking me to live like a monk, they are saying ki vegetarian bhi ban jao, sab इच्छाएं अपनी त्याग दो and just be satisfied with whatever you have. But if you put it this way, it sounds far more doable, far more acceptable, and it's like it's not difficult. You know, I'm allowed to have a house, I'm allowed to have a car, I'm allowed to have comforts of my life, but not luxuries, which we call luxuries. They're not actually luxuries, they're just things that we do not need, honestly. But yeah, we can do with comforts of our life. We don't have to give away our comforts. We can still lead such a life. So, ma'am, like I mentioned, people are actually not that comfortable in adopting a zero waste lifestyle because they think it's very difficult to do. Right. So, you have been here for 12 years, right? You've been working in the environment
7
space
years. 7
since,
years.
yeah, 7 years
Seems
now.
like 12 perhaps.
So 7 years is also a lot, because that's when environment started gaining traction as a topic, as it started actually becoming such a big problem, right? So, ma'am, in the past 7 years, what changes have you seen in the public view? How have people started perceiving this topic differently?
A lot of admiration has come my way.
Okay.
But change in people have seen very little.
Okay, so they are like, बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो,
Yes, yes.
पर आप करो, not for us.
We can't do it.
So having said that it is difficult for people to adopt. People don't want to put in those kind of efforts. You leading a zero waste lifestyle, how many other people have you seen who lead a zero waste lifestyle or a sustainable lifestyle?
Very few. Very few.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't think my journey to change people would be so hard.
Right.
But it's hard to change people.
Right.
Okay, I let them live. I don't pounce on them.
Right.
But I wish people heard me more.
Right.
And actually took ideas and started living that way.
Right.
But my children, fortunately, are following my path.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
Right.
But I wish I had touched more people with this lifestyle. But
then, as they say, that even if you impact few people, you have somewhat done your job and help the society.
Yes, I have. I mean, a lot more people in the city are composting.
Right.
So I have impacted. I won't say I haven't impacted many people, but not to lead a zero waste, not enough to lead a zero waste life. Yes, maybe a little less consumerism.
Right.
But
no problem, because sustainability is a journey, I feel. You cannot become completely sustainable overnight. It takes months, it takes years, it takes a lot of learnings. Like, I have been in the environment space for 3-4 years now, and slowly and steadily I'm learning new things that I can do, to lead a more sustainable life. And that is something कि आपको कोई बोलेगा या आप देखोगे तब आपको नहीं आएगा, वो आपको अंदर से धीरे धीरे करके फीलिंग आएगा कि I don't want to purchase this, or I don't want to eat this, or I don't want to live such a life. It's meant to happen. Like, you are bound to feel that way. So it's nice. And I have personally noticed the community of people in the environment space grow in the city of Kolkata. So what are your views on that? Has the community grown? How has it grown?
Community has definitely grown. More schools are wanting to do something, but they are also constrained with the curriculum that they have to follow. I think we need to go from up to down, try to change systems. More policy changes have to come in. With policy change, people will change. But it's so easy. On the 1st of July last year, there was a ban on plastic. Okay, I was very excited about it, and I was telling all the vendors in New Alipur, from 1st you can't use this. They say, yes, yes, yes. 2nd July, 3rd July, I see they're back with plastics. It's available, no problem. And I said, gosh, you're back to square one. Why? Why can't we change a simple policy like ban plastic disposable, single-use plastic ban? We can't do this as a city. I mean, it's really sad. In other cities and other states have done it. Why can't we?
Right. So, ma'am, like you said, that some form of policy decision has to be made in order to bring about change. And this policy decision was made to ban plastic waste, but it was not, let's say, executed properly or implemented properly. So, the onus of this, do you think it comes on the individuals, the citizens, or it comes on policymakers who might have not been able to execute the plan properly? Who do you think is the culprit?
This is like the question, what came first, chicken or the egg?
The answer is both.
So this individual onus is there. So when I talk to people, they say that
government help nahi karte, support nahi karte.
it's available, so why won't you use it? I said, you stop using it, then it won't be available.
Yeah.
So
Demand
some
meets supply.
people say
Yeah.
the manufacturers should stop manufacturing. So the buyer should stop buying.
Right.
Manufacturers will manufacture for whom?
Right.
So it's both ways. The
Right.
onus goes on each one of us.
So if we have to bring about any change, we'll have to make sure that the citizens and the government is walking step in step in order to bring about any change.
And I think I think more work on awareness creation. Why we should do what? Not just ban something, but why ban? Why the ban? Why we should not use single-use anything?
Right.
That awareness has to come through all sources of all channels of the media.
Right.
That awareness has to come. All CSR funding I think should go into creating awareness.
Yeah.
I feel then the problem may get sorted.
No, it's true, because recently we noticed with the heat wave coming in the past couple of months, everyone all of a sudden started talking about climate change.
Yeah.
Because they started feeling it.
Feeling the
so
heat.
Once you make them aware about it, once you make them feel what is going wrong, they will be ready to take action.
I think people need to become aware.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, ma'am, if anyone wants to start on their zero waste lifestyle or their sustainable lifestyle, what are the 5 easy tips that you would give them? I'm sure one of them would be carrying all these alternatives, but apart from that, what tips would you give them to start on their journey?
Again, the first is stop using anything single use, be it tissue paper, be it plastic cutlery or all these things, bottles, and the polythene bag, of course. Stop using single-use things. The second would be to eat home-cooked food. Start cooking, start experimenting. If you can't, employ a cook. You'll be employing someone, giving employment to a person. Stop buying hotel food. Stop ordering hotel food. You want to go eat something, go out, dine out. Right. You know, leave the comforts of the home, go dine out so that you don't bring in more waste. The third thing would be buy less. Open your cupboard. See what you have not used for the last 6 months. Give them away. If you think you don't have enough, maybe go and buy a thing. But again, audit your cupboards and see what you have used how many times. Has it been worth the resources put into it? Not only the money, you may have the money, but the resources that have gone into making something. Yeah. You know, and again, when you're buying, don't buy fast, as you were mentioning, fast fashion. Buy something that will last you a longer time. You know, these are certain things I feel, that we all need to be very, very conscious about. Buy food, which is, again, when you're buying vegetables, don't go buy from Spencer or Big Bazaar. Buy from local vendors. You're helping them live lives. Where will they go if we we all start buying from Instamarts and these sites, So get out, get some exercise, go and buy it from them. And again, don't haggle with those vendors. Give them their due price. Do you haggle with Spencer's and all the Big Bazaars? You don't. You buy whatever the price tag says. So please respect them. Give them their money.
Right.
I think
No,
these are simple
yeah.
steps.
Yeah. No, these are very easy to adopt, these suggestions. And I think at the end, it does not come to whether we can do it or not. It boils down to whether we want to do it or not.
Correct.
So it all depends on our will. It all depends on how passionate or dedicated we are to this cause. And yes, I think if we all just take up one thing from this list, if we just start doing one thing for the next 2-3 months,
Yeah,
and
take
then
baby
gradually,
steps, yeah.
gradually, we don't have to make a switch immediately. You know, it can't happen instantly. If we make a gradual switch, if we change our lives slowly and steadily, I think it can be a lot better for the planet, and at least for the city, it can be a lot better. So yeah, it was great talking to you today, Lata ma'am. Thank you so much for teaching us so much about composting and a zero waste lifestyle. And we'll be back with you with another episode of We the People. Thank you.